This is a book that I found in my local library. It's called Wolf Killer, Wisdom from a 19th Century Navajo Shepherd. So I'm going to read this intro just so you kind of get a backdrop on what the book is about. Wolf Killer is the remarkable life story of a Navajo herdsman and plant gatherer who lived in the Monument Valley region of Navajo country along the Utah-Arizona border from about 1855 until 1926. Raised by his grandfather and mother, Wolf Killer learned the ancient wisdom of his people. He grew up seeing the beauty in nature and discovering how to face the wind, storms, cold, and even death with optimism and courage. Through his embrace of the natural world, he developed both a rare depth of character and an understanding of human relations that guided him through times of adversity. Wolf Killer's story was recorded and translated by pioneer trader Louisa Wade Wetherhill, who met him after moving to his community in the early 20th century. After listening to Wolf Killer describe the wisdom of the elders he had learned as a child, and by observing his respect for all of life, Louisa proposed that these lessons be preserved for the benefit of future generations. Now, over here on page 4, he is relaying a story told to him by his grandfather. And what's interesting about this is, it basically is, it's another version of the biblical story of the manna falling from heaven. So I'll just read this part. Then the old men began to tell stories of the early history of the people that had been handed down to them. They told of the time when the people were suffering from hunger and how they prayed for help, and the next day the ground was covered with white food. For several days the people were happy again, as the white food gave them strength. But there is always someone who cannot be satisfied. The Coyote Man began to complain about the food and send out evil thoughts. He said it was too cold. The next day, when the people went out to eat the food, it was just water in their mouths and had no nourishment. It had turned to snow. For the evil thought of one man, all the people had to suffer. We learned from this that a thought is a thing that can either bring us evil or good. A good thought will bring all of our people good, and an evil thought will bring evil to all. They told many other stories of sickness, suffering, and death from hunger and war. Then they began their ceremonies. All the people prayed for rain and peace, and they came out of the path of evil thought. And then the rain came, the trees and the plants laughed again, and the people had food and clothing.